Welcome to Reflecting Light. This podcast is about filling the world with light by exploring myth, ancient texts, scripture, great works of world literature, and the works of artists, past and present, for those who have eyes to see and ears to hear. And now, here is your host, Mandy Green.
Hello, my friends. Welcome to Reflecting Light. It's great to be with you. It's great to start a new season. I'm actually really relishing this opportunity. Today's thoughts are about being human. And I've just discovered Kate Bowler. She's on the faculty at Duke Divinity School, and she has so many great things to add or to say about this particular element of our mortal existence. And on her website, katebowler.com, and I'll link everything in the show notes, which is at mandybgreen.com. She says, every week, I usually forget most of the basics, : A, you are loved. B, life is absurd. C, it's hard to be a human. And I think that's such a beautiful take on life. I actually have this posted right on my light as I turn it on and off every day. You are loved. Life is absurd, and it's hard to be a human. And in reflecting on the humanity, as the Grinch says, but really, as I study incarnation at school, and this isn't something that I feel in our theology is talked about in the same way or with the same emphasis, but this amazing reality of Christ's incarnation, where Christ became fully human alongside being fully God. And I was watching one of my assignments, Willamon, who I've never heard, but am now intensely interested in getting my hands on everything he's written or said. His presentation is great, but he said, in regards to incarnation, he was speaking about how the fierce polarities of godhood and humanity are brought together in one through Jesus Christ. And then this important aspect of the character of Christ. He's determined to be God with us, refusing to be God without us. So he spoke about Jesus Christ is God refusing to be God alone, to be God apart from us, which tells us so much about the love of our heavenly parents and the love of Jesus Christ in condescending down to be one of us. Willamon says, determined to be God with us, refusing to be God without us. Which makes me reflect on the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 14. And the Word became flesh and tabernacled among us. Now, the Greek there is tabernacled, and to tabernacle means to set up a temporary dwelling space. Remember that the tabernacle in the wilderness was something that could be taken down and transported and would follow with the Israelites throughout their sojourn. I think that's such a beautiful metaphor for our lives. That Christ, the Paraclete, the second comforter, or the comforter really means, the Paraclete means the one who stands at your side, the one who is with you. And so when the Word was made flesh and tabernacled among us, that also isn't just one isolated event. Because in doing that, the Word also has the ability to walk alongside you as you go through this absurd life, as you lament that it's hard to be human, and as you cry out to know or be reassured that you are loved. And in all of our striving for divinity and all of our striving to become more godlike, Will Willamon commented that Christ teaches us how to be human. Now that's something that's got me thinking a lot. How to be fully human. So many times I feel I've rejected my humanness, my body. Well, we had this discussion before about how I grossly neglected my body, just feeding my mind, thinking that my mind was the only aspect of divinity. But the fact is that the point of life was for us to also incarnate, to have a body and a soul, and that everything was to be experienced through that body, that tabernacle, that holy place where God dwells. We are made in the likeness and image of God. And so our bodies too are tabernacles for God's likeness and image to dwell. And so I've been thinking more about how I can become more like Christ in becoming more fully human, in recognizing that I have a body and a soul, and recognizing where and how I've been planted. Now, let me qualify this statement. In the incarnation of Christ, it's always of note in missiology that he came down as a Jewish man in Palestine at the turn of the century under Roman occupation. Everything about his life, his situation, where and how he was born, into what lines, into what space, in occupied territory, subject to another government, all of those things matter. They're all critical to who Christ is and what he came to do and who he did it for and with. On the same note as us being fully human, I've come to appreciate how important it is to realize where and how I was planted and into what situations, into what religion, into which practices. And all of that is part of my humanness. That's part of what I'm here to do, my calling. As the Word became flesh and tabernacled among us, Emmanuel became a living, breathing reality. Emmanuel, God, El, with us. That's a beautiful statement. And that also speaks to the character of God in the sense that God isn't waiting for us to be crazy divine and crazy transcendent, but God is willing to condescend down to meet us exactly where we are at. Christ comes to us where we are at, to perhaps walk alongside us on the road and remind us that we are loved, that life is absurd, and that it's hard to be human. And yet in all of those things is the transcendent aspect of us that he identifies with. Barbara Brown Taylor has said, "Earth is so thick with divine possibility that it is a wonder we can walk anywhere without cracking our shins on altars." Perhaps so many things in our lives are altars. Perhaps divine possibility is rife everywhere, and not in the ways that we've been programmed to think, not in sublime philosophical ways, but in gritty, earthly, tough, pressing, groaning, laughing, crying, fully, radically human experiences. This is the beauty of incarnation. This is the beauty of God with us. And so here's to humanity, my friends. Here's to us being fully human with that thread, that divine DNA that's woven through us. I toast all of you. And close with this Blessing for Presence by John O'Donohue. May you awaken to the mystery of being here and enter the quiet immensity of your own presence. May you have joy and peace in the temple of your senses. May you receive great encouragement when new frontiers beckon. May you respond to the call of your gift and find the courage to follow its path. May the flame of anger free you from falsity. May warmth of heart keep your presence aflame and anxiety never linger about you. May your outer dignity mirror an inner dignity of soul. May you take time to celebrate the quiet miracles that seek no attention. May you be consoled in the secret symmetry of your soul. May you experience each day as a sacred gift woven around the heart of wonder. That's the prayer and the blessing for today. May you find wonder. May you find divine possibility in your aching flesh, in your human immensity, in that body and soul that are woven together with divine thread. May these beautiful aspects of being fully human come alive to you. Blessings, my friends. Wishing you all love and light.
Thank you for joining us for Reflecting Light with Mandy Green. If you enjoy this podcast, please leave a good rating and share it with your friends. And remember, your light makes the world a brighter place. Share it.